Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV with your NFL Fade the Public video for this Sunday, Week 11, November the 19th. I'm going to let you know the four most public plays in the NFL, including a public underdog this week, and also two bonus games as well. We're going to cover 6 NFL games for you in Week 11 NFL for this Sunday, November the 19th. Just a quick reminder, if you're finding these videos useful, do me a couple quick favors. Thumbs up, a like goes a long way to keeping all this great content free here on WagerTalk TV. And don't forget to comment below. I read all the comments. I reply back. Let me know your thoughts on where to fade the public this week and also other best bets you like as well for this Sunday. All right, let's go down in start time order. We have 4 official fade the public selections, also 2 bonus games I'm going to get to in a moment. Let's look at the 1 o'clock Eastern games here. We'll start with the first game on the board, and that's an early game in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The LA Chargers traveling to the central part of the country and a little bit of colder weather for LA, of course. But the public doesn't care. They're backing the Chargers, one of the most public plays of the week. This line opened 2.5. It's now up to 3 across the board, that very key number of 3. And I don't think it's necessarily the public backing the Chargers. It's more that the public continues to fade the Green Bay Packers. Public faded them last week with the Pittsburgh Steelers with success. Green Bay once again failed to cover the spread. And actually, they had been on a nice little run, maybe till late September when they covered against the Saints. They have now failed to cover, though, 5 of their last 6 games overall. Once again, on a 1-5 slide. This is a team that started the season 3-0 against the spread. And as I mentioned, they've gone just 1-5 since. So after those 3 September covers, they've been the coldest team in the NFL, going 1-5 ATS their last 6. And the public has made a lot of money fading them on a weekly basis. And they'll do so again this week. Once again, the public likes the LA Chargers. You know, my colleague at WagerTalk.com, Andy Lang, the prop master, pointed this out earlier this week on WagerTalk Today. I believe he said every single quarterback that has faced the Chargers this year has gone over his passing yardage prop. He liked Love over 200 and some yards for that reason. And a majority of the teams have also had their best quarterback rating against the Chargers. This is a terrible Los Angeles pass defense, and on the season, giving up over 68% completion, 7.5 yards per pass against teams that average just 6.8. Of course, the Packers are averaging just 6.2 this year, and Jordan Love has struggled. Had a good game against the Rams. That was the only game they've won and covered a couple weeks ago, a 115 QB rating. But in all those other games in which they've gone 0-5 straight up in ATS, in 4 of those 5 games, he's at a QB rating of 72 or less. So we'll see how bad that Charger pass defense is this week, and if Love can play better. Justin Herbert, by the way, coming off a 115 rating against the Lions in that high-scoring shootout loss last week. And once again, LA Chargers -3, one of the most public plays this week on Sunday. All right, another very public game also goes at 1 o'clock Eastern. That's the Detroit Lions at home against the Chicago Bears. Detroit opened as an 8-point favorite. Line was going to be a little bit higher when it was uncertain if Fields was going to play or not. In fact, I did a look-ahead video earlier this week on Monday, and the line was as high as -10 this past Monday. I mentioned at that point we did not know who the quarterback was going to be, but I thought there was a good chance Fields might return. He was close to returning last week. They didn't use him on the Thursday game, gave him an extra week and a half to heal. And as I do this video on Saturday, Fields is currently listed as the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears this week, and this line has dropped from 10 down to 7.5 to -8. The good news for Detroit backers, you can now get them in a 6-point teaser and get them in a basic straight-up win situation. And I think that's probably the best way to play this game. It's hard for me to back the Bears. A lot of uncertainty with Fields. I will say this. He started playing much better against the Broncos and Commanders. Had 2 of his best outings ever. 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, 133 and a 125 QB rating against 2 bad defenses. But then, of course, limited action against the Vikings. He has not played in the past month. He does return. A lot of uncertainty there. But once again, getting the Lions down to -1.5 looks like a pretty good 6-point teaser if that gets them in a basic straight-up win situation. And another thing about Detroit, I pointed this out in the solo video earlier this week. You know, their losses have come in high-profile games for the most part. Only recent loss in the last 7 games, they've gone 6-1 straight up in ATS. Their only loss was at Baltimore. But they've won the other games by margin, except for that Charger game last week. Beat the Raiders by 12, Bucks by 14, Panthers by 18, Packers by 14, Falcons by 14. Point is, when they've been winning by margin. So be Detroit or pass. This is one situation in which I do not disagree with the public. Public is just heavy on the Detroit Lions, but I'm not sure I trust the Bears this week, especially with that uncertainty of Fields returning to the lineup. All right, another public play for you also at 1 o'clock Eastern on Sunday is the Dallas Cowboys at Carolina. Dallas Cowboys currently a 10.5-point favorite, open 9 up to 10.5. It's crossed that key number of 10. Total has also risen from 41 up to 42.5. And once again, I don't think the public necessarily backing Dallas, although they probably are. Dallas looked really good last week, obviously, against the Giants for the second time this season. But as we know, they've been fading the Panthers all season long and with success. I mentioned how the public continues to fade the Packers. Packers have gone 1-5 ATS their last 6, but the Panthers have only covered one game all season. They're 1-8 straight up, 1-6-2 against the spread. They have had a couple pushes depending on your line. Last week, that Chicago game landed right on 3. But once again, no matter how you cut it, Carolina has only covered once in their 9 games this season against the spread, and the public continues to fade them with success on a weekly basis, and that is the case once again this week. Carolina's offense is awful. 15 points or less now in 3 straight games. It's very difficult to back teams that cannot throw the ball. Panthers are averaging just 4.8 yards per pass this year against teams that allow 6.5. Dallas is averaging 7.4 yards per pass. One of the biggest disparities you'll see all season in the NFL from a passing perspective, and that's why Carolina can't cover point spreads. When they get behind, they don't have any offense, they don't have any passing attack to catch up. Bryce Young did have a good game against the Texans a few weeks ago, and that only win, of course, that was coming off the bye week. 104 quarterback rating, 48 and a 68 the last 2 weeks against the Colts and Bears, so he is still struggling as the number 1 overall draft pick. C.J. Stroud, the number 2 pick, obviously with Houston's done much better, and Carolina is struggling offensively. They've gone under their last 3 games, which is not a surprise. Meanwhile, Dallas has gone over their last 3, mainly because their offense has been on fire. They scored 43 and 49 in a couple of those games. And once again, the public is fading the Panthers. Is there any line value left? It's up to 10.5 now. Hey, comment below. Let me know your thoughts on those first 3 games I just mentioned. All kick off at 1 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to get you the public underdog of the week, the one public dog this week. Ding, ding, red flag alert. We got a public dog, and also 2 bonus games for you in just a moment. Quick reminder, if you want my official best bets for this Sunday Pro Football, get them on my page right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Bonus daily free plays posted as well. Free plays have been red hot this week, hitting over 65% on the free plays this week alone. It's a great way to build your bankroll. So check out those daily free plays, including every NFL Sunday on my page. But most importantly, go get those strong best bets for this Sunday NFL as well. And don't forget, this is your last chance to save $50 instantly on any 30-day package with promo code ALL30. You can choose a basketball, a football, a combination, all sports. No matter which 30-day package you choose, you figure out the one that works best for you. But make sure you do it this weekend and use promo code ALL30 for an instant $50 discount. That's ALL30, ALL30 at checkout for an instant $50 discount on any 30-day package this weekend only. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM. All right, I gave you the 3 favorites on the early afternoon card that are very public this week. Now let's look at the most public underdog of the week, and that's actually the Sunday night game on NBC at 8:20 Eastern. Vikings at the Broncos. Little surprised that the public will be fading the Broncos. Maybe it shouldn't be a surprise. They faded Denver last week on Monday Night Football, but they lost because the Broncos won that game outright. So the public lost last week, fading the Broncos. In fact, Denver has now won and covered 3 in a row. They've gone 4-2 straight up their last 6 since that embarrassing 70-20 loss against Miami. Broncos have gone 4-2 straight up their last 6 since, and they've covered 3 of those 6 as well, including 3 in a row. And they've gone under now 4 straight games. Have they found some defense all of a sudden? They've allowed 19 or less in 3 of those 4 games, 22 or less in all 4 of them. Yet the public is fading them with the Minnesota Vikings, and it's not a surprise. The Vikings, the hottest team in the NFL, 5 straight wins and covers. In fact, they've been a dog or pick 'em in each of those last 4 games, and they're a dog again. If you recall last week, I mentioned an additional public lean on the Vikings as a dog, and it was a lean only because, that line, I really didn't think Minnesota should have been a dog in that game. Dobbs at quarterback, he's played well since coming over from Arizona. Last week, a 101 quarterback rating. His first game against Atlanta off the bench, a 102 quarterback rating. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 67% completion so far in his 2 games with Minnesota, and he's still learning the playbook and learning his teammates. So not a surprise the public is back in the Vikings here, but these are really 2 of the hottest underrated teams in the NFL right now. Minnesota 5-0 straight up ATS the last 5. Broncos, though, 3-0 straight up in ATS the last three. Something's going to give here on Sunday Night Football. Currently, Minnesota is a 2.5-point dog. So, yes, they would qualify as a decent teaser mathematically, taking them up to plus 8.5, because once again, you're getting 3, 4, 6, 7, all those key margins working in your favor. And once again, the public is on the Minnesota Vikings for the second week in a row. Last week was a lean only. This week, I would say it's an official public dog. Minnesota is one of the most public plays and by far the most public underdog in Week 11. That's your Sunday night game, 8:20 Eastern on NBC. All right, let's look at two additional games. Those are your four official public plays for this week. Once again, the Chargers, Lions, Cowboys, and the Vikings on Sunday Night Football. Let's look at two additional games that just missed the cut. Two games that were just a bit outside. Two additional public leans for you on the Jaguars and the 49ers. Once again, Jacksonville and San Francisco would be two additional leans for you. Jaguars 6-3 taking on the 3-6 Titans at home. And I think this is more of a fade of Tennessee than anything. Titans just 1-4 straight up in ATS their last 5 games. Public wants nothing to do with them, especially after scoring 16 points or less in all 4 of those losses. Once again, an ice-cold offense. Jacksonville, meanwhile, was embarrassed last week by San Francisco, 34-3. But the public does think they'll bounce back this week. So once again, additional public lean on the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're currently about a 7-point favorite in that game across the board at 1 o'clock Eastern Sunday. And as I mentioned, the late game at 4 o'clock Eastern Sunday, the public's also leaning towards the 49ers. Open -10, it's now up to -12. And as I just said a minute ago, they looked really good, bounced back, and snapped their 3-game losing streak. Keep in mind, San Fran was 0-3 straight up in ATS. 3 straight losses as a favorite, 3 straight games in which they only scored 17 points. Well, they doubled that last week with 34 points at Jacksonville, and the public feels that was the buy sign. Tampa, though, playing good football, 20-6 win against Tennessee. They've now covered 3 games in a row, and they have gone under in 6 of their last 7 games as far as the total is concerned. And we'll check the over-under. It opened 42.5. It's down to 41.5. It would be interesting to see if it hits that key number of 41. About a 3 to 4% chance that this game lands exactly 41. So right now at 41.5, it's right above that key number. Baker Mayfield, they might be going under, but he's playing excellent offensively. In fact, a 102 rating against the Titans, a 119 QB rating against the Texans, and a 91 against the Bills 3 weeks ago. Of course, a little bit of a step up in class now against San Francisco, although the Bucs defense has actually been very mediocre this year statistically, and it's a surprise. They're giving up 5.2 yards per play against teams that average 5.2 yards per play. That's right around what the Bucs average. Tampa's defense has struggled, though, especially against the pass, and I do think Brock Purdy will have some success in this game. He was basically perfect against Jacksonville, 149 QB rating. I did a standalone video earlier this week for this game here on WagerTalk TV, and I actually recommended the over. And once again, I said, let's see if it gets down to that key number of 41 or not. It's still sitting 41.5, but because of all those Tampa Bay unders this season, I think we are starting to get some value. Tampa's gone under in 7 of the 9, 6 of the last 7, as I mentioned. But once again, I do think San Francisco's offense came to life last week and should have success against Tampa's defense. But I think Tampa might be able to move the ball as well. 2 teams that can throw the ball this week. I like it. If it gets down to 41 or less, take a look at the over in this game. And once again, the public is leaning towards San Francisco as far as the side is concerned. All right, those are your 6 most public leans this week for Week 11, Sunday, November the 19th. Quick reminder, if you're new to this video, first of all, thank you for joining us. Hope you found it useful. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell for instant alerts when my college football top 25 video goes up every Thursday. NFL Fade the Public every Saturday. But don't forget, we don't blindly fade the public. This is a filter. It's a starting point, a factor that you use in your overall handicapping arsenal. The premise is long-term, the heavily public sides will have inflated lines. We get value going the other way. And in the long term, you will win more than you'll lose going the opposite way. But once again, use this as a filter. Pick the games that you think have the best edge and fit into other handicapping models and situational analysis that you're using. Comment below. Let me know where you agree or disagree with the public here in Week 11. And also include other best bets you like this week in the NFL on Sunday. Put some analysis in there as well so we can learn and earn together here on WagerTalk TV. And also include those player props and 6-point teasers. Love to see those as well. Hit the thumbs up, the like if you found this video useful. Once again, subscribe and hit the bell for instant alerts. And don't forget, my official best bets for this Sunday Pro Football. It's a strong NFL card. Don't miss it. In fact, I've been ranked number 1 the past 3 months combined. Nobody has won more in the NFL and NFL sides the last 3 months combined. And it's no surprise. The past 2 years, number 1 overall in college and pro football sides, college and pro combined at WagerTalk.com. NBA has also been ranked either first or second all year in 2023, up over 100 units of profit this calendar year. Number one in college hoops a couple years ago. College hoops is here now as well. Great time to get an all sports package, but if you're a football or a basketball player only, that's fine as well. But no matter which option you choose, whichever 30-day package works best for you, make sure you get it this weekend so that you get an instant $50 discount with promo code ALL30, ALL30. All30 at checkout gets you an instant $50 discount on any 30-day package on my page right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Get there quicker with shortcut code WT.buzz/SM. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter as well, at Steve Merril on Twitter, 2 R's, 1 L, at Steve Merril on Twitter and X for daily free plays and videos. And also follow me on Instagram. I'm posting free plays throughout the week on Instagram now as well. Who knew? I'm on Instagram, Merril_Steve, and also follow WagerTalk as well on IG. And be sure to stay tuned here on WagerTalk TV. There's a ton of great NFL solo game videos earlier in the week, college football, NBA, college basketball daily videos. Yet another reason to subscribe and watch each and every day WagerTalk TV. In the meantime, enjoy the games this Sunday. Best of luck, and I'll talk to you again soon.